NASCAR just reversed course after saying no, and Cletus McFarland is walking right back through the door he was shut out of. The YouTube star who got rejected for one race just got the green light for another, and fans are already taking sides. If you don't know who Cletus McFarland is, here's the reality. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. He's 31 years old. He built a massive following on YouTube doing wild stuff with cars, accumulating 4.7 million subscribers. Now he's trying to make it as a real NASCAR driver, not a stunt, not a one-off joke, an actual racing career. He started out in the ARCA series, which is a lower step on the NASCAR ladder. Then he signed a multi-race deal with Childress Racing, better known as RCR. That's a major team with a long history in the sport. A real team put their name behind him. Before all of this, Cletus didn't have much experience in NASCAR's top levels. His only other start in a big NASCAR series was one truck race at Daytona. That's it. So when he signed with RCR, people raised their eyebrows. A lot of fans wondered if he was ready. A lot of drivers wondered too. His agreement with RCR covers 3 races a year over the next 2 seasons. We're going to be seeing him in the number 33 for a while, assuming everything goes smooth. Tommy's Express Car Wash is backing the effort as his primary sponsor. A few weeks ago, Cletus made his first ever start in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. That's the second tier of NASCAR, the one right below the Cup Series. The race was at Rockingham Speedway. Honestly, it was rough. He started in 33rd place and finished in 32nd. He spun out a few times. He ended up multiple laps down by the end. But here's the thing, he finished the race, he didn't wreck out, he didn't cause a big mess, he kept his car in one piece, which is actually a big deal for a guy still learning. Racing at that level usually eats newcomers alive, and Cletus managed to avoid any real trouble. He also had a strong run in the ARCA Series East at Rockingham, grabbing a top 5 finish. So things were looking up. After that clean outing, RCR tried to get him in for the next big race. They wanted him at Talladega Superspeedway. Talladega is one of the most famous tracks in NASCAR. Huge speeds, tight packs of cars, and wild last lap finishes. If you've ever watched a NASCAR wreck video, a lot of those come from Talladega. And NASCAR said no. They denied the request. They wouldn't let him race. Why? Well, NASCAR looked at the full picture. Cletus doesn't have a lot of stock car seat time. Talladega is a super speedway where cars run inches apart at nearly 200 miles per hour. One small mistake can trigger a giant wreck that takes out 10 or 15 cars. NASCAR didn't want to take that risk. They decided to hold the line and keep him out. John Probst, NASCAR's executive vice president and chief racing development officer, made it clear on the official NASCAR podcast. Probst stated, "We're all huge Cletus fans. We all watch his videos and are certainly very appreciative of everything he's done in our sport and will continue to do in our sport. He is approved right now for O'Reilly Series short tracks, which means he's good for all of ARCA, all of Truck, and then O'Reilly up through the short tracks. We'd like to see more out of Cletus in the short tracks, so we're not saying no, but there is more that we would like to see out of Cletus before we would approve him for Talladega." Cletus was hoping his clean Rockingham run would earn him the green light. It didn't, and that rejection stung. In a video posted to his Facebook page, Cletus addressed his fans directly. He explained, "Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted you to hear it from me first that I have been denied by NASCAR to run Talladega in my O'Reilly car. I made my O'Reilly debut last Saturday with hopes of getting approval for Talladega, but they did not see enough. Granted, it was a pretty hectic race. I tried to pass someone 3 wide on the 3rd lap, spun out a few times, didn't crash or crash anybody, but still, it was pretty hectic. Nonetheless, NASCAR has said, we're gonna see you run more ARCA and more trucks." Between the Talladega rejection and his next big announcement, Cletus ran an ARCA race at Kansas Speedway. He showed significant improvement, running as high as 7th place with 41 laps to go. He was running 10th with 25 laps remaining when disaster struck. His engine blew, forcing him to save the car and limp to the finish. He ended up 20th, but his attitude remained positive. During an in-race interview, he said, "Overall, I had a blast. I made 77 laps. That's pretty good. I mean, if I would have blown the motor at 50, I probably would have shed a tear, but I made over 75% of the race, so I'd call it a win." Now the story has flipped. NASCAR has officially approved Cletus to race again. This time it's at Nashville Superspeedway. The date is May 30th, 2026. He'll be back in the number 33 for Childress Racing, and his sponsor Tommy's Express will be on the car again. This is significant for several reasons. First, it's his second ever start in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Second, and maybe more important, it's his first time racing on an intermediate style track at this level. Rockingham was a short to track. Nashville is a totally different animal. The track measures 1.33 miles in length, featuring both intermediate and short track tendencies. It's longer, faster with more flowing corners, and a whole new set of skills to learn. Cletus himself jumped on social media Monday afternoon to share the news. He sounded pumped. In his own words, "Look out guys, your boy is going back O'Reilly raxing. On May 30th, I'll be in the number 33 Tommy's Express car wash car from RCR out at Nashville Superspeedway. Want you guys to all come out and see some action." He followed that up by explaining his preparation strategy. "I'm going to be doing a lot of training with RCR, a lot of simulator time, really looking forward to getting back out on the track in that O'Reilly's car." Then he dropped a line that's honest and self-aware. He said, "Lot of power, gotta dial in my turning left." That's basically him admitting the cars are a handful and he's still working on the basics of stock car racing, where you mostly just turn left for hours. RCR also made their own announcement on social media. Their post was short and hyped. They wrote, "He's back. The Tommy's Express number 33 will be flying like an eagle in Nashville on May 30th with Cletus McFarland behind the wheel. The paint scheme has already been revealed and fans are starting to get ready for the race." Fan reaction has been all over the place. Some people are worried, some are cheering him on, and some are making jokes. On the cautious side, one fan wrote, "Nashville is low-key a difficult track for someone inexperienced." Another said, "Just like Rockingham, that's gonna be a really hard track. I genuinely hope he does well." You can tell these folks want him to succeed, but they're also being real about how tough Nashville can be. Then you've got the hype crowd. One fan pulled out a classic line writing, "Be like Biff, do it for Dale. Looking forward to seeing Cletus improvement." That one hits the old school NASCAR soul right in the heart. Another fan kept it short and sweet with, "Hell yeah, brother." A third simply said, "Fantastic news." And of course, fans being fans, somebody had to crack a joke. One person wrote, "Our boy did good in Kansas. Make sure the oil lines are tight." That's a nod to the kind of stuff that happens on Cletus's YouTube channel. But not everyone is a fan of this whole setup. Kyle Busch, one of the most successful drivers in NASCAR history, has gone on record with his criticism. Busch said, "My son has probably run more races than he has, and he's 10 years old." Kyle isn't shy about his opinions, and he made it clear he thinks spots in these series should be earned through years of hard racing, not handed over because of YouTube fame. That opinion isn't going away. Every time Cletus takes the track, people like Kyle will be watching, and every little mistake will get picked apart. Nashville becomes the next big test. If he can put together a clean run, maybe even finish inside the top 25, NASCAR might start loosening the restrictions. That could open the door to bigger tracks, maybe even Talladega later on. But if he struggles, the critics will get louder. The Talladega denial could become the first of many, and the pressure on RCR to justify this deal will grow. Cletus knows this. That's why he's pouring time into the simulator. That's why he's training with RCR. He's not treating this like a publicity stunt anymore. He's treating it like a real job. Think about how rare this path actually is. Most drivers spend their whole childhoods in go-karts, late models, and smaller stock car series before they ever get near a NASCAR National Series. Cletus is learning on the job at the highest levels in front of millions of people. Every lap is a test. Every mistake ends up online within minutes. That's immense pressure. NASCAR approving him for Nashville sends a message. It tells other teams and other drivers that the sanctioning body is willing to give new faces a chance, as long as they earn it one step at a time. Cletus cleared the first hurdle at Rockingham. Now he's got the next one at Nashville. If he clears that, the whole door opens wider. May 30th at Nashville Superspeedway will determine whether this YouTube star can truly become a legitimate NASCAR racer.